Hello, hello. We're going to start. We're just waiting for a few more people to join. Welcome. I know some people are going to catch the replay. So let's begin and let's start. So before we go anywhere, let's catch a breath. Let's close down our eyes. Come into the present moment. Feel our sits bones in the ground. Feel ourselves in this space. Feel our space surrounding us and keeping us safe in this cozy little bubble. Finding a moment to connect to our breath. That deep companion that we have with us along our entire journey of life. Whenever you're ready, you can keep your eyes closed or come back to the space. Today we're talking about the concept of listening, and really listening with our entire body, with our entire being, and listening in a way that allows for information to be exchanged between us and our environment. So listening is really a key part of this artist lens, this artist perspective, because if we're in a state of constriction, if we're so in this state of I know everything, then we can't necessarily be open to what is, and we can't necessarily be open to what can be. And the whole purpose of the artist is to evolve, to grow, to offer new perspectives. So if our sense of hearing is compromised in some way, not in a physical sense, but in an emotional, ego-driven sense, then we can't really be open to what is. My meditation teacher, Scott Schwank, he talks about the 4 levels of listening. And the 4 levels of listening, they're split up into downloading information. So that's level 1. So it's just, I'm receiving your information, but if I were to repeat back to you what you said to me, I would not be able to. Because it comes from that state of, okay, I'm listening to you, yeah, okay. It's similar to that moment where we're probably on our phone and we're in the middle of doing something and somebody's talking to us and we are able to receive them, but at the same time not quite. We're much more in that in one ear and out the other. And we're absent from the conversation in some way. Then we have listening number 2, level 2, which is factual. It's more like that debate where your emotions and your empathy are not involved in the conversation, and still you're more interested in the fact or the purpose of the conversation. So what is it that you're asking of me? It could be, you can imagine this very business or very factual conversation between a boss and their office worker, where it's just like, I need you to give me an information and I don't care about the rest. I don't care about the story. I'm here for the information that will get us to move forward, or just listening for something more specific that is biased on your own system. Then level 3 listening is empathetic. So when we begin to have an emotional conversation, we are beginning to see the world through another person's eyes. And this is where our heart can begin to open. Level 4 in listening, though, is when the 3 of those combine together, when we are able to listen from that level of what is possible, from that space of softness, from that space of openness, from that space of, I may not know everything, and I'm willing to suspend my knowledge, my sense of being, my awareness, and my my ego, really. I'm willing to suspend my sense of self, what I could know in this world, and what I already know, in order to expand and open into what is possible, what could be here, that's something more, that electricity that can be exchanged between two people. Because, when we're in our own space, we can achieve a lot. But in spiritual spaces, in meditation or facilitation groups, a lot can be said about the power of the witness. So the witness is the person who sees your change, who sees your growth, who sees your transformation in some way. And this is really important, because if we have any relational trauma, if we are experiencing any kind of stickiness, to be witnessed in that space, it amplifies our change, because we're no longer just me and me. We are being witnessed, and we are being listened to by somebody from the external. So it changes the energetic kind of the energetics of the space. So in that same way, we can, the last week we talked about the art of observation. So it's more about attuning our physical side, our focus and our attention of our eyes, of our energy. But here we're going one step further. It's combining the art of observation, and it's combining this art of listening through our entire being, through our entire body. When our heart is soft, when we don't have judgment, when we don't have any preconceived notion or agenda about what the person is saying. We all have these experiences in our lives where we're just waiting for the other person to stop talking so that we can talk. Yeah, so waiting for the other person to finish so that we can have our input, but we're not quite in the energy of the conversation. And a really beautiful metaphor that you can look at is as if you can imagine this garden between, for let's say 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, whatever, it doesn't matter. But imagining this energetic garden between 2 people. And as you're speaking, different things are coming up. Different visuals, different images, waves, seeds, roots, whatever. And it's like there's a story being woven between these two people. And if we're so focused on our own agenda, our own way of being, or our own ego is in the way, or whatever way you like to think about that, we might just see, a box in front of us. And we only see the other person in the conversation. We only listen through that box. So we actually, from combining that art of observation, we only see a very small and hear a very small amount of what's going on, instead of being fully immersed in the environment, in this state of being and in this state of openness. There's a really phenomenal book, David Data, Blue Truth, and very often he talks about this concept of being open. That being open to the world is to be open as love, to be open as truth of the moment. So to break it down and bring it back to the art of listening, it's when we're in that state of constriction and we know, or we have our facts, or we have our judgments, or we have our own agenda, and we open to the field, we open to the other person, we open to the environment, we open to be surprised, to be amazed, to not know something, perhaps. Yeah, so it's this beautiful way of being in the world where we're like, I have my own set of beliefs around this thing, but perhaps that's not all of it. Perhaps I can shift and change my own perception around this, which is really exciting because it then allows us to be really fluid and to be really fluid in our own being and in our own sense of self, which is another beautiful art of the artist. This art of shifting archetypes, this art of shifting perceptions, this art of shifting your point of being. And well, that's a whole other workshop, but I wanted to bring that piece in because when we're able to suspend ourselves, we can truly become anybody that we want to be, right? And then life becomes so exciting because we're not stuck on this, singular self who has this set of beliefs and does this on a given day. But as an artist, as a creator, as someone who expresses, we get to become anything that we wish to be. And that's really exciting. That's really exciting because when we're listening, for example, let's take folklore. So folkloric archetypes, for example, we could have the king, the maiden, the mother, the crone, the old wise man, the hermit. Even taking these examples, listening from each of these archetypes is very different than listening from yourself. So, taking on that royal, that sovereign, that powerful perception into yourself and embodying that, and then listening from that space is very different than listening from just your ordinary state of mind. And we can dance between all of them, and that's so exciting. I'm so excited about the embodiment workshop. That's going to be really cool. But for this one, I really want to play with this idea of listening and suspending our other senses. So if it's available to you, I asked about headphones. If you have a blindfold, this would be the moment to find it or pick it up. If not, that's absolutely fine. You can also do it just with your eyes closed. So I have my magical drum here. I hope you'll be able to listen to it. It is this drum is really, really magical because it has overtones and frequencies that we are not quite able to pick up with our ears, but we hear them in the space. So it's like a wave. And this drum has been tuned to a very specific frequency and hertz, which is this meditative frequency. And it allows us to suspend our mind and go into that meditative state, to calm our nervous system, to be more spacious. And so I'm going to combine this beautiful drum with a little bit of breath work, because when we are constricted, when we are constrained, and we have a lot of stuff in our system, it can be very hard to listen. But the practice of breath work, moving tensions, moving energy, sounding, releasing, dancing even, it helps us to clear space within us so that we physically and energetically have more space to listen, to expand, to be open to the world. So if you prefer sitting, that's okay. But I would invite you to lay down in this moment. Put on your blindfold and just come into this space. Relax fully, and I'll guide you on a little breathwork journey. I'll find some music, and I'll guide us into a little breathwork journey. I'll explain in a second what that will be like. Exactly. Just gonna share some sounds. Okay. Great. So the breath, it's going to come into the belly and into the chest, and it's going to be through the mouth. So it will look something like, and make sure you open your jaw when you're exhaling, because that will allow you to release more tension from the jaw. And we don't want to do because that it increases the energy, yes, but it promotes hyperventilation. So what we're trying to do is to go into this dreamy, open state of, as if you're sleeping, really. So in this moment, as you're laying down, as you're sitting down, begin to cultivate that sense of deep sleep, that deep restfulness, that deep peace, that deep relaxation that we feel when we are asleep. And I will encourage you to continue cultivating that sense throughout the whole experience. And so we're going to breathe for about 5 to 10 minutes. And near the end section, I'm going to stop speaking and I'm going to play the drum. So I will encourage you to fully immerse yourself in that and have that sense of your body being a permeable membrane. So your body and your skin being able to soak in this breath and being able to soak in the vibrations and the sound. So really trying, but not trying in a way that is efforting, not trying in a way that is trying to grasp, but like, oh, I'm trying to be open and to listen, but in a soft and easeful way. So it's more of a softening and a letting go and making more space rather than actioning. And the same with the breath. So it's more about softening and pressing the easy button. So whatever that means for you, breathing in a way that is easeful, even if it means it's slower than what I'm presenting in this moment. So finding your own flow with it, but the important thing is that the breath is cyclical. So there's no pause in between the breath and in and the breath out. So it's continuous. So find your comfortable space. Take a few cleansing breaths. So in through the nose and out through the mouth with an ah. Inhale through the nose and out with an ah. If you feel like it, you might give yourself a little shimmy, a little shake. When animals actually de-stress, they shake. They have a little shimmy. So that's really fascinating that we can mirror and learn from them. Coming back to the breath now. Through this whole experience being with the breath through the whole process. All the way to the inhale and all the way with the exhale. So we will begin into the belly and into the chest. Exhale out through the mouth. Into the belly, into the chest. Exhale. Belly, chest. Exhale. Belly, chest. Exhale. Going at your own pace. Finding your own flow with this. If your mouth is getting dry at any point throughout this experience, it's okay. You can stop, swallow, lick your lips, or switch over to your nose. It's fine. Imagining that with each inhale, you are receiving everything that you could potentially and ever need in this moment. So you're having this feeling of drinking life in, drinking life force into the body. And as you're inhaling, this life force is finding all the places in your body where you might feel tension. And you're illuminating them with this breath. And on the exhale, you're letting them go into the space around you, into the earth underneath you. And you repeat the cycle, giving over more of the intelligence to your body. Trusting that there's a knowing deeper beyond you that is already beating your heart, that is already pulsing in your blood, that is already beating, that is already moving your breath. We are just shifting into that deeper rhythm, listening to that deeper rhythm of the body and of the breath. So for the next little bit, we're just going to breathe in this way. If you feel like making a sound on your exhale, feel free to do so. If not, that's absolutely fine. If you find any resistance or if your mind is becoming active, simply let the thoughts go. Come back to the breath. Deepen your breath, and you can slow it down as well, way, way deeper. Sometimes if we're trying to breathe quickly, it can become very agitating to the system. So it's okay to breathe slower and deeper, but continue. Yeah. It's easier to melt the resistance sometimes when we're slowing the breath. Got just 3 minutes of active breath, and then we're going to shift into a more passive breath. So what can be really helpful as well is to notice how close our breath is to the crashing of the waves on the shore. Realizing that within our body we can find our own ocean of stillness and calmness and fully melt into it. We're going to continue the breath for another 5 minutes or so, but now I'm going to shift into the drum. So fully relax into the rhythm, into your own experience, and allow your nervous system to calm down and be attuned. breathing deeply into your heart space. Coming back a little bit into the body. Feeling as if your heart is melting and radiating into the space around you. As if your heart is as big as the room that you are in. As if your heart could take into it the entire room, including yourself. Allowing your breath to be your guide, to be your anchor. Shifting into a more passive state of breathing. This could be in through the nose, it could be slower. Just making it more natural, whatever that means for you. And imagine from that place in your heart, as you're inhaling into it, and as it's expanding beyond your body to fill the entire space, imagine listening from that space. Imagine listening from that space of the deep open heart, of allowing anything and everything as openness that you are. Knowing that no matter what is happening outside, you are deeply rooted in your own heart, in your own strength, in your own power. And that our heart has the capacity and the ability to listen with love, to listen with curiosity, to listen with compassion and empathy for what is truly possible in this moment. Listening not for ourselves, listening for something greater than us, and trusting that we may not be hurt in that our energy space, our heart is stronger than we even know. In fact, the electromagnetic field of the heart is 600 times stronger than that of the brain. It is our creative center. And so now, from that place deep within your heart, deeply listening to yourself, to your own breath, to your own heartbeat, to the entire room, to your body, dropping a seed of intention. Dropping a seed of intention for your week ahead, for your month ahead. What is your longing? What is your secret desire? What would you like to create or be in this month? Dropping that seed into your heart space and seeing it grow, seeing it become a seedling, a flower, a giant tree, and taking its root at your body center, expanding beyond your body with its giant crown. And living and finding its place in your energy system. So that no matter what you do in this month, no matter what you do in this week, you can always come back to that place within you to remember, to create from a place of deep possibility, of deep listening. Taking a few deeper breaths to transition a change for your body. Slowly coming back into this space. Wiggling toes and fingers. Moving your neck. Inviting movement back into your body. Still from that place of deep listening. As if deeply asleep. Open to anything that is possible. Feeling yourself centered and aligned in your heart space, in your central channel, from the top of your crown all the way to your roots, to your feet, to your perineum. Whenever you're ready, coming back into this space, into this moment. Slowly sitting up if you have been lying down. Taking everything in your own time. If anybody wants to share anything, whether it's out loud or in the chat, whether it's one word or nothing at all is welcome. Any insights that you might have gathered, any questions, any resistance, any challenges, all is welcome in this space. You can always message me afterwards also. And message in the WhatsApp group, anything that you've found, anything that you're discovering, anything that you're shifting. It is always really helpful to be witnessed in that. And there's that beauty in that art to listening, where we get to find and capture the stories of the world, where we get to listen for the stories that are all around us. This drum in particular, it's a really beautiful instrument because you sit down with it and you just listen. You sit down with it and you listen for the story that it's trying to tell you in this moment. And it can be a really powerful meditation practice that doesn't actually require you to sit here and struggle against yourself. But when we're able to listen to something so intently, like we did with the art of observation, when we're able to actually use our sensory awareness to listen to something and what it's trying to tell us, we can find a lot of the answers to what we're seeking in life, whether it's a creative endeavor, whether it's a relationship challenge, whether it's anything. And, if you don't have a drum, that's okay. You can immerse yourself in nature. You can listen deeply to the sound of the leaves, to the rustling of the trees, and let that capture you. Let that capture your mind, your heart, and your spirit, so that it becomes this rejuvenating experience. Forest bathing, yeah, that's what it's called if you do it in nature. But if you're ever looking for a gift, or if you have kids, getting one of these drums is really cool, because first of all, you don't have to put up with out of tune playing. The amazing thing is that all of the notes on this drum are actually tuned to each other, so there's no bad sound that you can make, which can be really helpful. And it's really nice because it also works on our nervous system. So even though we might not feel like anything is happening in our mind, I found a great difference if I play this in the morning and if I don't. It has a very strange quality to the nervous system, where I'm able to be more in that space of listening, and more in that space of being perceptive to what is. So I'm going to send into the WhatsApp a little invitation later on in the week for a beautiful immersive experience that you can listen to on your headphones and with your blindfold. And it's about 20 minutes or so. It's a really beautiful journey as well. And yeah, in the meantime, I invite you to share your insights, whether it's through email, whether it's through Instagram, whether it's through the WhatsApp. And I always love to hear from you. So if there's no questions or insights in this moment, I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to wish you a fantastic day wherever you are, or an evening. And I will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much, and bye bye.